everybody, and big Happy New Year to you. Hey, thanks for coming in today and joining the show. This is the Wealth Guardians radio show. This is where we tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. JB again joins me in the studio. So, JB, Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you, Doug. It's great new year. Got a lot of high hopes for this year.
I do too. I'm optimistic, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. For those of you who may be first-time listeners who don't know my name, it's Doug Ray, and I'm the founding principal of Ray Financial Group. We are a professional independent firm working with pre-retirees and retirees in all areas of retirement and estate planning, including the areas of wealth management and preservation, asset protection, tax reduction, wealth transfer, and distribution. We are fiduciaries with a fiduciary duty, and I've always run my practice that way. We have offices in Charlotte, and in the Triad, it's in Clemens. And we can be reached at 336-391-3409 or via our website at www.thewealthguardians.com. So let me just kind of tell you what the objective of this radio program is. We're actually now in our 11th year in the Triad. So what we try to do is educate and inform the listeners of up-to-date, relevant, and important information in the pre-retirement, the retirement, and the estate planning arena. And this is something that I really like to do for everybody. I love to educate. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our workshop series that's coming up for 2018. And we'll get into the first one here that's coming right around the corner. It's going to be a Social Security workshop. So stay tuned for that, and we'll tell you what the details are there. Well, again, JB, Happy New Year. Welcome. And how was your Christmas?
It was great. You know, I love this time of year. Got to see some family members that I haven't seen in years, and which is always great. Got to do a little traveling to see some the other side of the family, my wife's side. Had to go to Northern Virginia, did some traveling, and it's always a joy when you get on Interstate 81 this time of year.
Yeah.
But it was great. I love this time of year, but I'm ready to buckle down. 2018 is going to be a great year.
You know, I was telling my wife yesterday, I've really enjoyed having the time off during the holidays, but I'm ready to get back to work, get back in the saddle.
Well, you know, when you got kids at the house, and I enjoy my children, don't get me wrong, but after a couple weeks, you know, it's time to go back to school. I remember those days. Absolutely. Not so much for but for mom and my benefit, you know. Yeah. So it's great, but I'm looking forward to a great 2018. Got a lot of high hopes.
Yep, I totally agree. So, let's go ahead and get at it. For openers, let's talk about a couple things. I want to talk about the stock market, obviously, what to expect there. I want to talk about tax reform now that it is law.
Right.
You know, the president did sign it in. We talked about it before the Christmas break. But
sure.
It wasn't settled law then. It is now. I want to take a look at economic growth. I want to take a look at this infrastructure spending proposal. And guess what? 2018 is another political year.
We got elections coming up, the midterms.
Just seemed like we got over that mess.
But, let me just go ahead and just dive right in and ask you, Doug, of everything you were just mentioned there, is there anything you're really concerned about now?
Well, concerned, yeah. There's obviously things out there beyond our control that could happen, that could derail our optimism. You know, we talk about those being black swan events. You know, a couple things that come to mind would be certainly North Korea, although right now that seems to be settling down a little bit. Time will tell. Iran, you know, they've had these protests going on for 2 weeks?
Right.
That could get very interesting. Of course, Russia is always a meddlesome problem. And then you got the Middle East, you got terrorists and all that. So, yeah, there's some concerns out there. But, you know, they say in Wall Street, the market climbs a wall of worry.
That's right.
So let's go ahead and start talking about the positive stuff first.
Yeah, that's great.
I want to talk about tax reform a little bit because I think this piece right here, more than anything, is key. And, you know, we look back at 2017 and we marvel at what the stock market did then. I mean, up 25% in a year. That's rare.
Yeah.
And it all started the night of Trump's election. Never forget that night because Going into that election, the market was lot limit down because everybody at that time thought Hillary was going to win the presidency. Around 10 o'clock, things changed. Returns started coming in from states like Pennsylvania and Michigan, and the market started moving up. And by 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or so in the evening, the Dow had gone from lock limit down up to, I think it was about a positive 800 points. And I looked at my wife and I said, I think Trump's going to pull this out.
Right.
And the reason I think the market did that, the market has never ceased to amaze me because it really is a look into the future.
Right.
It discounts everything. And if you think about what the stock market really is, it's the collective wisdom of everybody in the world, all traders. So I think it saw the election of Trump, and I think it saw this tax reform coming into play, and I think that's why this market went on the 25% run, because this tax reform is going to have some major positive impacts, specifically, mostly in the corporate arena. We're now in corporations going to be competitive with the rest of the world. At 21%, it's going to allow $4 trillion worth of money sitting overseas to come home to be reinvested back into plant and equipment, employees, and so forth. And I believe that stock market has known that all year long.
Right.
So that is a big positive for me. Now, before we get into more tax reform, I want to stop here just a moment, and I want to tell everybody, we're getting into our educational series again. We start on the 23rd and the 25th of January with one of our favorite topics, Social Security. So I know you guys have heard me talk about Social Security. You've heard Casey promote it for us. He'll be promoting this one again. It's such an important thing for you guys to understand how to weave into your overall retirement planning. So I'd like to invite everybody to come to our Social Security workshop, even if you've come before. A refresher's not going to hurt you. It's 6:30, the 23rd of January, the 25th of January, out in Clemens at the Broyhill Office and Convention Center. You need to make your reservations. You can call directly into the office at 336-391-3409, or you can register online at www.thewealthguardians.com. So again, 23rd, 25th of January, 6:30 in Clemens at the Broyhill. Social Security, everybody's favorite topic. We'll also talk a little bit about tax reform too, and how that's going to kind of help weave into your Social Security income planning. So let's go and look at tax reform one more time here, not on the corporate side this time, but JB, let's talk about it on the individual side and see exactly what that looks like.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions about that, so maybe you can help them out here.
What's amazing is there's been a lot of talk about how people are not going to get a tax deduction, especially in the high tax blue states, because of the loss of the state and tax deductions and so forth.
Right.
Well, I saw yesterday, I think it was on Fox Business or CNBC, the New York Times actually admitted that people were going to get a tax deduction and the economy is doing better. They interviewed Jeffrey Levine, which he's a CPA, and basically he went out and he did taxes. He compared the 2017 or 2016 return to a 2018 return, the same kind of apples to apples comparison. And he had people in 3 states, one in a blue state, high income earner couple, a single mom, I think, in South Carolina, and a couple out in California. Every single one of them thought that they were not going to get a tax break, and every single one of them got a nice tax break. The high income earning couple up in the blue state, I think it might have been New Jersey, not sure about that, $13,000 savings.
Wow.
And they thought they were going to have to pay more. So it is working. So what's going on here? Well, we've got 7 brackets now, and the 10% bracket is from $0 to $19,500. But if you factor in the standard deduction for a married couple filing jointly, it's actually 0 because that's a $20,000 deduction. Then we go from 12%, at the $19,501 to $77,400 range. That used to be the old 15% bracket. Then the next bracket I want to talk about, because this is where most of our listeners fall in, is the 22% bracket. That's from $77,400 to $165,000. That used to be the 25% bracket, so people get a 3% savings there, and that bracket has been extended by about $12,000. It used to end at the $153,000 mark. Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you what excites me about being able to use these brackets.
Okay.
We got smaller taxes, we got wider brackets, and that means more Roth conversion. Mm-hmm. That means people can turn forever taxed IRA money into never taxed Roth money. And that gives us more capacity every single year to get more done. Now, who knows how long we're going to have these taxes. These taxes are on sale for at least the next 3 years.
Right.
Let's take advantage of getting your forever tax money into never tax money. You know, folks, you got a really, really good chance of being in retirement 30 years or more.
Right.
You have 30 years of having your IRA money converted to a Roth, compounded tax-free. Don't you want to do that? Don't you want to see what it looks like? And don't you want to be able to pass that Roth IRA on to your children and grandchildren so they can have a tax-free retirement? Man, wouldn't that be great? If that interests you, if you want to see what it looks like on paper, I'll do that conversion for you. And I'll show you in black and white what it looks like. Just give us a call at 336-391-3409.
All right. Sounds like a great place to take a quick time out. Great conversation with Doug Ray. You are listening to the Wealth Guardians radio show. It's heard right here on 94.5 WPTI. We certainly appreciate you being with us today. Remember that number. You can reach Doug at 336-391-3409, or you can visit the website at thewealthguardians.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Wealth Guardians radio show on 94.5 WPTI.
All I know is that I fell in love with you, and if all my dreams...
And welcome back. You are listening to the Wealth Guardians radio show here on 94.5 WPTI. And Doug, before the break, we were having a great conversation, actually. 2018 is upon us. And let's jump back in and talk some more about economic growth.
Okay, I will. But you know what? I got so excited about 2018 and our first show here in the new year, I totally, completely forgot to thank all of our men and women in the armed forces.
Wow.
I know. I never do that. I never forget to do that.
But you're not. You did remember.
Yep. Thank you, folks. We really appreciate your service and your sacrifice.
We do.
Yeah, economic growth. Holy cow. That's been, 2 quarters back to back. We've had plus 3% growth rate.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting stuff.
That is exciting stuff. And that we need to get over 3% growth to do a couple things. Number one, obviously, we want to get more people employed. We want to be able to raise the wage gap. Mm-hmm. And we also want, believe it or not, yes, we want more tax revenue due to growth, not excessive taxes, going into the government to pay this debt down. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think what we'll see in terms of economic growth over the next 3 years is I think we're going to see probably north of 4% on some quarters. We're going to stay above 3%. We might even scare 5%.
Wow.
That would be great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. If we could get back to that, if we could get back to that 80s Reagan growth rate, man, that would do an absolute ton of good for this country who's been mired for the last 8 years in 2% growth rate.
Right.
And you can feel it. People feel it now.
Yeah, there is the confidence is out there. You can see it with the way people are spending, just the way, the general mood of everyone. There's a lot of high hopes. There's a lot of people looking forward to this year, just a lot of anticipation.
That's exactly right. We started seeing it actually right after the election. Mm-hmm. As 2017 progressed, we started seeing businesses get more positive about the future. They started spending more on their own infrastructure. And here, in the last couple, 3-4 weeks, due to tax reform, they're actually giving their employees big bonuses.
Right.
American Airlines just announced this week, and so did a whole host of other companies announce. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to economic growth.
Well, earlier, too, let's back up a little bit. Doug, you did mention that we did want to talk about, you do have some concerns for this year, though, too.
Yeah, I do. And, before we get into those concerns, I want to talk about our future educational workshops.
Okay.
We've got, I think, a great itinerary coming up for 2018. We're going to start January's workshop out with Social Security. I'll tell you more details on that. Then I'm going to do a new one, brand new workshop. I'm going to use my buddy Tom Hegna's workshop that he does. It's called Paychecks and Playchecks. Stay tuned for that, retirees. You're going to like this. He's got a book out titled Paychecks and Playchecks, and I'll probably give a few of those books away to the attendees of that workshop. Then, I think in March, because we're coming up on tax day in April, we'll probably have a taxes and retirement workshop. And, of course, it's going to be all new material because we'll have a new tax code right in front of us. And we'll continue to seed the rest of the year out with other very great informational workshops. All right. Going back to January because it's coming up quick. The 23rd and 25th of January, 6:30 p.m., in the Broyhill Office and Convention Center in Clemens, I will do another Social Security workshop. If you have not yet claimed Social Security, if you've already claimed Social Security, you should come to this workshop. There are some things, believe it or not, if you've already claimed Social Security, if you are full retirement age or over, there's a couple strategies there we can utilize to get you more money. If you just claim Social Security, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have done that. And just maybe there's a way you can stop your Social Security payments now and start picking up those delayed credits going into the future. So come to the workshop. It is the 23rd, 25th of January, 6:30 in Clemens. You need to sign up for it. So call us at 336-391-3409, or you can register on our website at www.thewealthguardians.com. And while you're there on the website, we've got some good reports or white papers on a lot of different topics, but Social Security is certainly one of them. All right, JB, you talked about some concerns.
Sure.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these concerns. I guess the biggest ones would be something in the geopolitical area,
right?
Something that we can't control, something that gets out of hand. And of course, folks, I'm talking about North Korea. I'm talking about Iran, terrorism, Russia. As I mentioned a moment ago in the first segment, right now it looks like North Korea is actually simmering down a little bit from where it was at one point in time. Things looked a little bit dicey there,
right?
But it could go either way. I mean, that dictator over there is he's young, he's brash, and I think ignorant.
Right.
So no telling what he could do.
I don't think in my lifetime I've never really, we've never really seen an individual quite as unpredictable as him.
Yeah.
Just really a strange situation over there.
Yeah, even his dad wasn't as unpredictable as he is.
Right.
I mean, he was contained to some degree. I think Clinton and I think Bush's could have done a better job containing him. But we got a guy that's the president of the United States now that doesn't take any anything from anybody.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens. Iran's been interesting.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks. They're starting, the people now are getting fed up with being in an economy that's terrible, that they're not getting human rights. And here's the thing about Iran. They're not too many generations removed from the Shah in that period. Now, back then, yes, the Shah was a dictator, but they had a heck of a lot more freedom than they do now.
Right.
Even women didn't wear burqas back then.
Right.
They actually, their economy was pretty decent. Mm-hmm. So they know what it's like to live better than they are now. Mm-hmm. Who I feel sorry for is the poor North Koreans, because they don't have a clue.
Yeah, they have no clue.
Absolutely not. They are completely and totally, brainwashed.
Right.
So let's watch Iran. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. I do hope that the Iranian people can come together and topple that evil regime.
Right.
Well, there's Russia too. Russia's always an interesting proposition, because Putin, he wants Russia to be a world leader again, much like the Soviet Union. After all, that was the system he grew up in. And he looks for every way he can to either thwart us or to do something to try to stem our progress.
Right.
Now, will it get into a shooting war? I don't think so. But it could end up getting pretty testy.
Another Cold War there?
Yeah, could be. They really started activating their military again. I mean, the I call them Soviet subs, but the Russian submarine fleets are active again, with both attack and ballistic missile subs. That's what I did in the Navy. I was an anti-submarine warfare specialist, and know a thing or two about the Russian submarine fleet. So yeah, it's again a concern. And then of course terrorism. Right. We have terrorism.
Always unpredictable there.
Always unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. Boy, I think if the Iranian people can overthrow that regime, I think that's going to go a long way to dampening down terrorism, because Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism.
Right.
And, especially through Hezbollah. So it's just, I guess, a wait and see game. I'll tell you what I think the Trump administration absolutely needs to make as a priority for 2018 is to get the wall started.
Right.
And it's not just to keep out Mexicans, illegal immigrants.
Right.
It is all about keeping out terrorists. Mm-hmm. There is no doubt in my mind that we have already seen terrorists cross the border down there.
Right.
And I don't know what the plan is. They call them sleeper cells. I don't know what ignites it, but they're here in this country.
Right.
And, I hate to see things happen in this country like they have in Paris and London and other cities.
Right.
So that wall needs to get built. No question in my mind.
Well, Doug, let me jump in here. I've got a question,
Sure.
A concern that was kind of I was wondering about. Do you see inflation creeping back in here?
Yeah, that's a good question, JB. It's possible.
Right.
With a strong economy and a fully employed workforce and wages going up, yeah, that could be a concern. Inflation could come back, and we're going to have to watch that. If that happens, the Fed's going to get more proactive on raising interest rates. And they've been doing that for 2 years. But, it's only been very moderate, quarter point at a time. But it's a good question. It's an unknown. We'll have to wait and see. Listen, with our last minute or so here, folks, I want to offer anybody listening a free 5-point master retirement plan. We'll take a look at Social Security. We'll do a written income plan for you. We'll optimize your Social Security. We can even play what-if games. What if I retire at 62? What if I wait till 70? How's that going to affect me? How can I get my assets positioned so I am getting the best tax-efficient income in my retirement as I possibly can? That offer is free. There's no obligation. All you got to do is call 336-391-3409. Get you on the schedule. Come in. It's about our first meeting's about an hour long. We'll have a cup of coffee together, get to know one another, and I'll do this 5-point master plan for you. Again, 336-391-3409. Boy, JB, the show went quick today, didn't it?
It went quick, but it was a great show, a lot of great information, and we appreciate everyone listening.
We really do. It's been fun. We'll see you again next week.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the Wealth Guardian Show here on 94.5 WPTI. Talk to you next week.